You got to be ready to play today. I ain't got to tell you nothing. I ain't got to do it. You got to get yourself ready. When I get double and kick it to you, you got to hit the shot.
That's what I said.
That's not what you said. You said I got to get you going. I ain't got to get you going. You got to get your own self going.
You got to make the shots. You
okay,
got to make the shots.
You got to get yourself going. That's not my job to get you going.
What's going on with these grown folks arguing on national television? Shaq and Charles Barkley are literally the biggest crash outs on TV right now, at least for, I guess, the rest of the NBA season, because obviously we know that they are, unfortunately, ending their show. So, unfortunately, this might be one of the last times we see this duo. But before we do that, we need to understand why these folks are always arguing.
I'm going to say the dumbest thing sometimes. Just say he's the best, and it's not the best you've ever seen.
He's the best one-on-one player
you've ever seen.
Yes.
Bruh.
Michael and Kobe,
that book's
but
the best seller.
One-on-one.
Yeah, Jack, open the door for me because I'm behind you too, man.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Charles Barkley do be saying some crazy stuff. In that clip right there, he did mention that James Harden is the number one best one-on-one basketball player of all time. You know, discounting Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Come on, folks. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaq. You know, a couple of guys like that. You know, I guess Charles forgot they existed. But that's not to discount the fact that Shaq also does the same thing.
You can't be sensitive.
I'm not. I'm just saying it don't work. You know, everybody want to play strategy. Why don't you just play ball? It's called basketball, not basket strategy. Why don't you play ball? Why don't you be a man?
When it comes to Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley and their beef inside the NBA, we have to think about how long this beef has lasted. If you look at it, this has lasted to as long as going back to their playing years of the NBA. If you look at Charles Barkley, he's the one that first came into the league. And when Charles Barkley first came into the league, we were looking at him as basically the Michael Jordan of power forward.
The heart of a champion. He always played to win. He always put the team above himself. And he, along with guys like Jordan, Bird, Johnson, and Olajuwon, has made the NBA what it is today.
If anything, in order to compare him to a current player, I would say that he was the Nikola Jokic of the early 90s to late 80s, or even during Jordan as well. He was considered as a prolific power forward. Undersized, but he had great leaping ability and crazy athleticism. And he was destined to be a great player and have a great career. But I feel like he was kind of all over the place. He didn't necessarily have the ability to stick with one team, and basically that team built around him. He was kind of all over the place to playing for players or teams like the 76ers, to the Suns, and to the Rockets. Throughout this time period, he only really had 2 to 3 good playoff runs to get a championship. For Charles Barkley, at least, to the point where he was in an era where Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were taking care of the league. Basically, they were always going to be in the finals, and there was no other team capable of competing with those guys. This was the late 80s. And then once the 90s came around, Michael Jordan came around. And, you know, it was kind of hard for anybody to kind of compete with that. When Michael Jordan left, that's when we got introduced to Shaq. Seven-foot, 200-plus-pound guy, all leaned out. He was very, very, very versatile, and he was agile. He wasn't, big yet. All right, he still was big to the point where he could still move people, but he was more so a very leaned out, faster, quicker player in the beginning of his career. So he kind of took over, and he had a great run with Penny Hardaway and the Magic. So it just seemed as though that Charles Barkley was in an era where he kind of wasn't able to compete because there was these once in a generation players that were spawned. So where are we talking about? Magic Johnson to the Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan era of basketball. Charles Barkley wasn't necessarily a fan of this and believed that he could have had a better career had these players had not been in the way.
I know I'm great. When I got traded to Phoenix, they gave me Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson and Mark West and those guys. I'm like, because when I got there that first day, I said, guys, I think I'm the best basketball player in the world. We're going to play the Bulls for the championship. Michael Jordan just has some more help. I'm just as good as him. They look at me like I'm crazy.
With Charles Barkley always, talking about his earlier years in the NBA and how, these new players should kind of relate to that. That's kind of where Shaq and Charles have a disagreement, because obviously Shaq has the better resume in terms of him winning. But Charles Barkley always saw that Shaq had it easy. He had the better supporting cast team. He always argued that, you had Dwayne Wade to ride your coattails. You had Kobe Bryant to ride your coattails.
I didn't have Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant carry me up and down the court.
So why you in the Hall of Fame? Because I got 3 Finals MVP, Chuck.
Because you
Google me, Chuck.
It was even to this point too, where the beef was before this and kind of sparked from this in their playing years, when they had scuffles here and there, and there was that famous one where basically Chuck basically chucked a basketball at Shaq, and Shaq threw a punch, and they were wrestling on the court, and it kind of got ugly, and they had a beef. Back then the beef was real. Obviously the NBA nowadays has got into a very softer side, but back then the beef was real. These players actually hated each other. They never necessarily hung out with each other, but it wasn't to the point to where Shaq and Charles' moms got into the picture and basically kind of wanted to resolve things, because they see that these two people are very passionate.
I was always envious of Charles because he got all the calls. So the day he hit me with the ball, I was like, good, now I'm about to knock him out. We get into a little scuffle. As soon as I get to the thing, Jerome hands me the phone. You better not put your hands on my baby. And I'm like, who is this? It's Mama Barkley. And I was like, hello? She's like, yeah, I'm on the phone with your mama. Like, don't you know we've been best friends for about 20, 30 years? Now you go after the game, you go get me her. Y'all don't need to be fighting on TV like that.
The argument I want to make here is that these players, Shaq and Charles Barkley, are one of the most passionate players we will see in the NBA. NBA is a whole different level of passionateness towards the game of basketball. And you got to understand that these players live and breathe the game, and they have a better understanding than anyone on this planet about how to play basketball, how to win basketball, and how to stay talented. And so I think that this beef is nothing but a way of showing the passion that these two people have. And it could be, obviously because these two people have different perceptions. I think for a casual fan, you need to understand that these two don't necessarily hate each other. They don't go about their day to fucking make the worst picture possible about these two. They just have very passionate arguments and discussions and stuff like that, to the point where they live and breathe this stuff, and they are not gonna just give you a very basic response to whatever is going on in the current league. Shaq and Charles got beef. But in reality, at the end of this video, I just want you to understand that it's not real. It's not to the point where they hate each other. They make diss tracks like Shaq did to Damian Lillard back in the day.
It's different. Shaq has platinum, like...
you shaking your head.
First of all, Master P played one game in the NBA.
I'll text the Diesel right now.
You think you got better music than Shaq?
I think I rap better than Shaq.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. It's Shaq. It wasn't like Shaq and Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was like, people wasn't looking at it like this a real rapper. It was like, that's Shaq rapping. So.
Yeah.
3-time Finals MVP. I can't believe some guard lost as a team. How you say that you better than these when you ain't got more?
If I address you as Shaq, or Shaq fool you, old head can't see me. He blinded, Slick Rick the ruler.
Where Charles Barkley basically had a hate for San Antonio women.
Charles Barkley says that there are no beautiful women in San Antonio.
Charles Barkley, the guy that doesn't know how to swing a golf club?
They have spandex in San Antonio. No. And Victoria, definitely a secret. Oh, man. They can't wear no Victoria's Secret down there. It's a secret.
So what did you think of Charles Barkley's comments?
Oh, the man they call the round mound of rebound.
First of all, I've never said they didn't have good-looking women in San Antonio. Yes, you did. No, listen, I'm telling you the truth. I think it's a great city. Mm-hmm. I think they got the best organization in the NBA. But they do have some big old women down there.
This is not beef. This is love for the game.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
That's more than 2 words.
You didn't say 2 words. You said quick to the point.
You just said I got 2 words. Steve Nash.
Okay.
2 words.
Nash and Paul.
That's 3 words.
That's 3 words.
And Steve Fiorello, director Steve Fiorello.
What is wrong with you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Who do they mistake you for?
I went to
Shrek?
I went to
Thank you again for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys tuning into this new video. This is a very new kind of style I kind of wanted to do, where I kind of include myself into a very sports related content, because I love my sports. I love basketball. I love the NBA, and I love to always talk about it. So if there are any certain things you guys want me to put out there for you guys, let me know, and I will give you guys a lovely video with maximum effort and appreciation for the sport that we talk about. Whether it's basketball, I have some knowledge on soccer. Actually, soccer was my first sport. Actually, whatever it is you feel like should be made a video of, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you are new to this video, I need you guys to subscribe to this channel, like it, follow my socials for any more suggestions or input interactions you guys would love to have for this channel to make it as better for you guys in the upcoming future. With that said, stay tuned. More videos coming soon. Follow my other channel, BrandoFlash Reacts, little second channel that kind of gets more input of me and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, have a good one, guys. God bless. Take care. See ya.